together, a little louder. Haribol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Together, a little louder. Haribol. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Haribol, everyone loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances of Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to morning Bhagavatam class. This morning we continue with Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, Verse 8. The chapter is entitled How Maharaj Parikshit Received the Age of Kali. And we are very glad that there's a lecture by Srila Prabhupada on this verse, Verse 8. So without further delay, we will start the class. And we request devotees to please share at least a takeaway or two at the end, so we can have a nice discussion and we can share with others our thoughts and reflections and also lessons that we have learned from this lecture. Haribol.
Na kaschin mriyate tavad yavadasta ihantaka etadartang hi bhagavan ahutah paramarshibhi aho niloke piyeta Hari Lilamritang Vachaha Nakaschin Mriyati Tavad Nakaschin Mriyati Tavad Not Kashchit, anyone, Mriyate, will die, Tavat, so long, Yavat, as long as, Asti, is present, Iha, herein, Antakaha, one who causes the end of life, Etat, this, Aratam, reason, He, certainly, Bhagavan, the representative of the Lord, Ahutaha, invited, Bharama, Rishibhi, by the great sages, Oh, alas, Nriloke, in human society, Piyeta, let them drink, Hori Lila, transcendental pastimes of the Lord, Amritam, nectar for eternal life, Vachaha, narrations. Translation. As long as Yamaraja, who causes everyone's death, is present here, no one shall meet with death. The great sages have invited the controller of death, Yamaraja, who is the representative of the Lord. Living beings who are under his grip should take advantage, by hearing the deathless nectar in the form of this narration of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord.
So, Jamaraj is the representative of the Lord. Just like the police chief, what is called the police chief, the superintendent or what? Commissioner. Commissioner of police. He is representative of government. So, the police department is fearful department for the criminals, not for the law-abiding persons. Similarly, Jamaraj, who is the superintendent of death, death is certainly cruel. At any moment, death can stop all our activities. Nobody can protest. That is not possible. So, and nobody wants death also. That is also fact. But nobody can stop death also. The so-called scientific advancement, they cannot stop death. You can talk all kinds of nonsense about advancement of life, but after all you have to die. Big scientists, professors, they talk so many things, but when death came, you could not save him by scientific process. Because death is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who can check? Therefore, the Lord's name is Ajita. Ajita. Ajita means one who is never conquered by any other means. Sarat, self-independent. These are the words used. Sarat. Sarat means fully independent. Nobody can make him dependent. That is Krishna, that is God. Everyone is dependent, but Krishna is not dependent. Therefore he is called Sarat. So, Maharaj, Jamaraj is representative. There are 12 recognized representatives of God. We have many times cited this verse. Swayambhu, Brahma, Lord Brahma is representative. And Narad, great sage Narad, he is representative. Shambhu, Lord Shiva, he is representative. Kapila, Kapil Dev, he is also representative. Kumara, the four Kumaras, son of Kumar. And Manu, Vaivasvata Manu. This is the age of Vaivasvata Manu. Manu received the transcendental knowledge from his father, Vivasvan, the sun god. So, and Prahlad Maharaj is also representative of God. Prahlada, Janak, King Janak, father of Sita Devi, or father-in-law of Lord Ramchandra. He is also representative. Grihastha. The Janak Raja is Grihastha, householder. And Narad is Brahmachari. Lord Brahma is also Grihastha. Lord Shiva is also Grihastha. Kumara, Brahmachari. Kapila, Brahmachari. So, there are many. Jamaraj is also Grihastha. Sukadeva Goswami is Brahmachari. So it doesn't matter whether one is Brahmachari or a householder or a sannyasi, he must try to become confidential servant of the Lord. Then he becomes the representative of God, Krishna. So Jamraj is a great devotee Vaishnava. We should not be afraid of Jamraj. Those who are devotees, they are, Jamraj says that I offered them respect by obeisances. He advised his messengers that don't go to my devotees. They are to be offered respect by me. You go to persons who are reluctant to chant Hare Krishna mantra. You go there and bring them here for judgment. The Christian also believe the day of judgment. The judgment is given by Jamaraj. But who goes to his court for judgment? The criminals, those who are not devotees, those who are not Krishna conscious, they go to the court of Jamaraj. So in other words, it is the duty of the Jamaraj to see that everyone is becoming Krishna conscious. That is his duty. Just as the police department's duty is to see that everyone is law-abiding, acting according to the law of the state. Police is not anyone's enemy. He is enemy to the criminals, not to the law-abiding citizens. I have seen it, personal experience. In one of my friend's house there was a burglary. The police inquiry was there. So we are going in another's house, the police man and we also. So we saw in distant place a few men were fleeing. They are going away, hastily running away. So I inquired the police, why these people are running away? So he answered, you do not know, Babuji, that they are criminals. Because we are passing, they are thinking now the police is coming to arrest us. Although there is no purpose, how one can arrest? But they are what is called this? Culprit mind is always suspicious. Because they are culprit, criminals, as soon as they saw the policeman is coming, they began to go away, run away. So Jamaraj is not to be afraid by the devotees. This is the purpose. And it is the Jamaraj's duty to see that these rascals who have forgotten Krishna or God and come here to enjoy material sense gratification, they must be punished because material sense gratification is always sinful. We may create so many artificial laws, this is good and this is bad. Just like in your country, drinking is good. And in some other country, drinking is bad. In your country, meat eating is no offense. But in the Vedic civilization, meat eating is one of the foremost sinful activity. So, here the so-called good and bad, they are all mental creation. Otherwise, everything is bad, nothing good. Here only goodness is to become Krishna conscious. Otherwise everything is bad. So-called ethics, morality, and law, and good and bad, they're all rascal terms. It has no meaning. Because they are punishable. They can avoid the punishment of the law of the state. It's like in the government in every state, there is some punishment if one kills another living entity, another man, not living entity. There is punishment. The law punishes. If you kill somebody, if you commit murder, then you will be punished. This is punishable. But because it is man-made law, therefore it is defective. A man is a living entity and a cow is also a living entity. Why this discrimination? That if a man is murdered or killed, that murderer must be punished. But that law is not permissible in God's law. In God's law, either you kill a man or you kill an ant, you are punishable. You are punishable. You cannot avoid this. Because in the eyes of God, the Brahma, Lord Brahma, and a small ant, they are all sons of God. Sarvajuni shukontiya sambhavanti murtaya tasang mahajjani brahma ahama bija pudakpita. Krishna says like this, I am that father. To whom? Sarvajonishu, in all species of life, beginning from Brahma down to the ant. So, if you kill your brother, say, who is not important, will your father approve? Oh, you have done nice. You are a very nice son. You are earning millions of dollars. And this man is useless, this boy. So you have killed. It is very nice. No, father will never tolerate. To the father, the useless son and the earning son, both are equal in affection. So therefore, it is the duty of the elderly son, those who are advanced, not to kill the insufficient son, but to give them education of Krishna consciousness. This is the duty. It is not that because this living entity is useless and kill him. So you can kill, but he will be implicated, therefore the Jamaraj is there. Jamaraj's business is to see how much sinful this living entity is, and he is offered a similar body. Karmana daiva netrena. You will be judged after your death, every one of us. Of course, if we take Krishna consciousness seriously, then the path is automatic. Automatically, you go back to home, back to God. There is no question of judgment. Judgment is for the criminals, the rascals who are not Krishna conscious. But if you become Krishna conscious, even if you cannot finish the job in this life, even if you fall, still you will be given another chance of human body to begin where you ended, to begin from the point where you fell down. That was salpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato vaya. If you have taken to Krishna consciousness, try to execute it very seriously. Means to follow the rules and regulations, chant Hare Krishna, that's all. 5 things. No illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating. We don't prohibit sex, but illicit sex is more sinful. More sinful. Unfortunately, they are so rascals, one sex to another, another sex to another, another sex. That is Maya's illusion, influence. But if you stick to Krishna, Mameva prapadanti, Mayami tang tarantiti. If you catch up Krishna's lotus feet very tightly, then you will not fall down. But if you make a show of so-called brahmachari, so-called grihastha, so-called sannyasi, then you will fall down. We are experiencing that. Then you must fall down. Krishna will not tolerate a defaulter, a pseudo-devotee. Maya is very strong. Immediately catch her. Come on. Why you are here? Why you are in this society? Get out. That is Jamaraja's duty. But if you remain in Krishna consciousness, Jamaraj will not touch you. Your death is stopped from the point where you begin Krishna consciousness. Your death is stopped. Nobody is prepared to die. That is a fact. You may say, I may say, no, I am not afraid of death. And that is another rascal. Everyone is afraid of death. And nobody wants to die. That is a fact. But if you are serious about that thing, that I shall stop my process of death, dying process, then it is Krishna consciousness. Therefore it is advised. Aho niloke tiyeta horililam mritang vachaha. Oh, the human society, you have got this body. Just go on drinking the nectarine of Krishna Katha. It is advised here. Oh, niloke. Especially it has been advised in the niloke, the human society. It is not addressed to the dog loke or cat loke. They cannot. They have no capacity. Therefore it has been niloke. Nayang deho deho bhajang niloke. Another verse in the 5th canto. Nayang deho deho bhajang niloke. Kastan kaman arati birbhujang ji. These are the Bhagavad. There is no comparison, there is no literature throughout the universe like Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no comparison, there is no competition. Every word is for the good of the human society. Every word, each and every word. Therefore we stress so much in the book distribution. Somewhere or other, if the book goes in one's hand, he will be benefited. At least he will see, they have taken so much price, let me see what is there. If he reads one sloka, his life will be successful. If he reads one sloka, one word, this is such nice things. Therefore you are stressing so much. Please distribute book, distribute book, distribute book. The guitar mridanga, we are chanting, playing our mridanga. It is hard within this room or little more. But this mridanga will go home to home, country to country, community to community. This mridanga. So, it is advised that niloke means the human form of body. In the human society, we don't discard that this American society or this is European society, this is Indian society. No, all human beings. All human beings. It doesn't matter what he is. All human beings. What to speak of civilized men, even uncivilized, anarja, they are also described in the Bhagavatam. Kirata hunand pulinda pukkasa abhira sambha javana khasadaya. These names are there Kirata. Kirata means the black. The Africans, they are called Kirata. Kirata Huna Andhra. Huna, the nation or the community on the North Pole, above Russian, German, they are called Huno. There are so many we do not know. Khasadaya, the Mongolians. Khasadaya means who does not grow sufficiently mustaches and beard. This Mongolian group. Kirata Hunanda Pulinda Pukkasa Abhira Sumbha Javana Khasada. Javana. The Milechas, Javanas means those who are Mohammedans and others. So they are also included. Niloke, because it is Niloke, every human being. And superficially, externally, there may be this nation is better than that nation. That is fact. The Aryans and non-Aryans, there are division. Civilized, non-civilized, educated, non-educated, cultured, non-cultured, black, white, or this and that. There are externally this, but that distinction is of the body. But a spirit soul is not this body. He is spirit. That quality is one. There is no such distinction. This is better, this is lower, this is black, this is white, this is civilized. In the spirit soul platform, everyone is one. One. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu. Sama. Samata. Samata means equality. Where? Brahma bhuta prasannatma. When one is self-realized, aham brahmasmi. I am not this body. I am not Christian, I am not Hindu, I am not black, I am not white, I am not fat, I am not thin. I am Brahma. Brahmasmi. That is called Brahma. I am spirit soul, part and parcel of God. My only business is to serve God. Because I am part and parcel of God. Just like I have given several times, the part and parcel of my body is this finger. What is the duty? To serve the whole body. I ask the finger, come here, immediately. Do this. Yes. Natural. If I am part and parcel of God, then my only duty is to serve God. That's all. I have no other duty. That is Brahma-bhuta. It is very simple thing. Not that by becoming Brahma-bhuta, one gets 4 legs and 1 dozen hands. No. The hand is there, the leg is there, the mouth is there, everything is there. When it is purified, that these hands, legs are meant for serving Krishna, that is called Brahma-bhuta. That is Brahma-bhuta. Not that Brahma-bhuta means I become Nirakar, no form. The Mayavadi philosophy, the thing like that, something different. Because this is not Brahma, this is Asat. Brahma Sattva Jaganmita, this world is false. Therefore, Brahma realization means that something opposite must be there. In the Maya, everything is variety, so Brahma must be without variety. This is also material conception, because he is thinking like that. But my thinking, if I am in Maya, so whatever I am thinking, that is also Maya. But these rascals, they do not understand that. They do not understand that. I am thinking that Brahma must be opposite of these varieties. Therefore Brahma must be impersonal. But what is the conclusion? The conclusion, he is thinking. He is thinking like that. But real Brahma, Parabrahma, Krishna is not impersonal. He does not say that I am impersonal. But these rascals say that God is impersonal. So this kind of thinking by the person who is in Maya, that is also Maya. Therefore they are called Mayavadi. Mayavadi means all their philosophy is also Maya. It has no meaning. Therefore they are Mayavadi. They are handling something in the Maya. Therefore, they are called Mayavadi. So, here it is said that Niloke, in this human form of body, is advising, Aho Niloke Piyeta Harililam Nitang Vachaha. This is advice. Those who are born in the human society, these who join this Krishna consciousness movement were simply Harilila Amrita Vacha. There is no other business. What is our business here? Constantly, 24 hours, we are engaged in Harilila Amrita Vacha. That's all. And so long you are engaged in Harilila Amrita Vacha, there is no question of death. There is no question of death. Then if you say, we are seeing that devotees are dying, yes, but death has been stopped. Then still why is dying? He is not dying. He is going back to home, back to God. Tattadehang punarjanmanaiti mameti kauntyo. Tattadehang. He has given up this body. But he is not going to accept anymore a body like this. Then Mamimo is coming to me. What is that Mamimo? Jadgatyana nivattante taddhama paramam. If you go somehow or other to Krishna, he'll never come back. So, Mrityu, death is stopped as soon as you take Krishna consciousness very seriously. Immediately, from that moment, as soon as you are initiated, you promise before the spiritual master, yes, I am initiated, I shall act like this. And if you follow, then your death is stopped from that point. No more death. No more death. Simply an official business, just like you sleep and again you awake. Similarly, a devotee's death is like that. It is like sleeping and next moment he is in the spiritual kingdom. Immediately. Immediately. When he will rise, he will see that I am Krishna, I am with Krishna. This is the fact. So don't fall down. Don't be childish. That, yes, I have promised before spiritual master, before Krishna, before fire. All right, that's all right. Let me break. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't lose this opportunity. You are now on the point of deathlessness. But if you again commit, bhajan napakkotha patit tatu jadi, there is chance. If your execution of devotional service is not going perfectly, so there is chance of fall down. So, the devotional service is so nice that even if you fall down, there is not very great loss. Great loss means you get human body, not an animal body. That is stated in the book. Yoga bhrashta sanjayate. Suchinang simatangehe. Yoga bhrashta. One who has fallen down from the bhakti yoga. Where does he go? Suchinang simatangehe. In the house of very rich man and in the house of nice Vaishnava Brahmana. This is the opportunity. This is first class opportunity. If you take your birth in the house of a Vaishnava Brahmana, just like these children are taking birth, father and mother Vaishnava, they are very fortunate. They are not ordinary children. Otherwise they would not have gotten this chance of chanting and dancing before deity and Vaishnava. They are not ordinary children. The parent must take care, very good care, that they may not fall down. They have got the chance. Now train them to complete this Krishna consciousness. That is the duty of father and mother. Now this child has come under my care. Both the father and mother think like that. Not contraceptive. Oh, rascal. Oh, here is a child who has taken shelter of me as mother, who has taken shelter of me as father. Oh, it is my duty to train him in such a way that no more birth, no more death. That's what Bhagavad says. Pita nasasya namo chayeta samupita mrittam. One should not become mother, one should not become father. If he cannot relieve his children from the clutches of death, and how one can be saved from the clutches of death, this is the process. Halililam mritavacha. If he is trained up, therefore you have got this school from the Dalas. From the beginning, Halililam mritavacha. They are being trained up in Halililam mritavacha. So once one becomes situated in Halililam mritavacha, that means he has stopped his process of death. So this dying again of this body, of course this body is material, it must make a show that this material body, but his spiritual body is going back to home, back to garden. There is no doubt about it. Therefore Jamaraj's duty, Jamaraj is Vaishnava, he wants to see that you do not die again. He wants to see that you continue your deathlessness. Now you are engaged in Krishna Kathamrita Vacha. That is the point of it. Just like a diseased man. A diseased man, as soon as goes to the physician and he gives the right medicine and he takes it, that means his diseaselessness condition has already begun. It will take little time. So in the meantime, in that treatment time, diseaselessness condition, if you make another infection, that is your fault. Otherwise, deathlessness begins from the day of initiation, Adu Gudbasram. As soon as you take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, your point of deathlessness begins immediately. Immediately. And if you continue the advice and instruction of the spiritual master of the Shastra, then you become deathless, no more death. And Jamaraj wants to see that actually you are continuing your deathlessness process. This is Krishna consciousness, it's so nice. That would be the advice. Now, if somebody argues that the devotee is also dying, if devotee is also dying, how can I say that it is deathlessness? No, he does not know. Devotee is not dying. There is a very good example. Just like a cat, he catches the rat and he catches his cab also. But these two kinds of catching is different. When the cat catches a rat, that rat means his chi means dying, actually dying. And the cab, he's feeling very comfortable. Meow, meow, meow. Because the same cat catching process is the same, but the feeling is different. See, devotee seemingly dying, he's not dying, he's going back to Krishna, he's very pleased. Now my labor is finished, I am going to Krishna. That is his feeling. And others, they are crying, oh, this is my state, this is my family, this is my, I am living, I do not want to leave it, what will happen to them? He is crying. That is death. And this is not death. So it appears like death, but it is actually not death. Just like the electric fan, if you make the switch off, It has stopped running. But if you say still running, that is not running. That is a show of running. Actually, the running is stopped. Similarly, as soon as you surrender to God, through His representative, your death is stopped. Unless you make it nullified by accepting anything which is against the bhakti principle. Otherwise, your deathlessness is guaranteed. That is stated here. Nakaschit mayati tavo javodasrihantak. If you simply know that Jamaraj is there, he is supervising, that I may not fall down, then you will not die. You will not die. It is not impractical, it is practical. Try to perceive the truth that since you have begun Krishna consciousness, to become Krishna conscious, your death has been stopped. But don't fall down and again capture death. That is the instruction. Thank you very much.
Such a beautiful lecture by Srila Prabhupada. I mean, just hearing about death, and the process of death by Srila Prabhupada sounds so glorifying, it's so nice, so nice. It's just amazing. Thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada, for this wonderful lecture. We'd like to ask devotees if you have any takeaways from this class, any food for thought, any lessons that you would like to share with us. Please do unmute yourself, or you can put it in a chat. For me, I know, one point that Srila Prabhupada mentioned was how important devotional service is, how much it really plays in our lives. I'm trying to find that paragraph where Srila Prabhupada says the importance of devotional service and how it really keeps us together, how it engages our mind. I'm trying to look for that. I'm trying to see where I saw that, and how it keeps us connected to the process and helps to purify us. So that was one of my takeaway. And the other takeaway Srila Prabhupada says is once we take shelter for spiritual master, we become deathlessness. But then the next sentence he says is that we have to follow the instructions. It's not just we take initiation and then the job is done. And then we can do any hanky-panky stuff, So which means that even after initiation is when the process of deathlessness stops. But we also have to follow the instructions and the rules and regulations and devotional service and so on and so forth, and make sure that we don't fall back. So that was a very nice point by Srila Prabhupada, instructing us. What I got from it is just not take initiation and then we're finished. Okay, now I am, immortal, right? Like I can do whatever I want because death won't touch me. No, Srila Prabhupada is saying it starts from there, but it's on us to make sure that it stays that way by following instructions, the rules and regulations, the standards, the chanting, the reading, and devotional service, and it says, and to continue the advice and the Shastra. He also mentions Shastra, not just spiritual master, but also the Shastra. So it's very, very important. So that was one of my many takeaways. So would like to open up with any devotees who have their takeaways, please. Yes, go ahead, Prakshit. Go ahead, please.
Hare Krishna, to accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So I agree very much. It's a very, very thought-provoking and very informative. Very, very lecture with so much power behind it. It was very forceful in the statements that he was making. So it's very, very convincing in that way. Some of my takeaways: man-made laws are defective. They are only relative. One, they gave a wonderful example. In America, meat eating is allowed, but in Vedic society, if you eat meat, it's punishable, heavily punishable. So human laws are like that, because Krishna says, Sabayoni Shikonte, he is the father of all living entities. If you kill a living entity, even an ant, you have to be punished. But when he talked about Yamaraj, for the devotees, he says we're not to be afraid of Yamaraj. When we become Krishna conscious, Yamaraj does not punish us. He is a superintendent of death. Death is feared by everyone. But for devotees, death can be stopped once and for all. So those are some of my takeaways. There are other ones, but again, I'll hold off for now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, yeah. This actually, and you chose the word, thought provoking. Really, really thought provoking. So it's really, really nice. And how Srila Prabhupada mentions death, it's like sleeping. You sleep, the next morning, you're with Krishna, and then the next moment, he says, you're with Krishna. But again, it all falls back on how strictly we follow the rules and regulations, we follow the teachings, the instructions, the advice, and the scriptures. Is not just, easily achieved. It's a lifelong, daily, every moment, every hour, every day, process of growing in Krishna consciousness to get to that point of, deathlessness, as Srila Prabhupada says. I like that word. He says deathlessness. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share a takeaway? Any thoughts that's coming to your mind? Any reflection? Any lesson? Any realization? Please do unmute yourself. It's a small group, so we can definitely unmute. You don't have to raise your hand. Or if you can't speak, please do put it in the chat, and I'll be happy to read it so that every one of us can learn from it. Go ahead, Prakshit, please.
Other thing that he mentioned that was very, very striking was about Srimad Bhagavatam. And you talked about having to distribute books. It goes so far, and particularly for Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, the person gets Srimad Bhagavatam is already benefited by holding it. Even if every word of Srimad Bhagavatam is beneficial for human society. He said, if a person reads one shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam, his or her life will be successful. Very, very important points that he was making. I think I'll hold up again. Dear Krishna's hand is up. So go ahead.
Yes, go ahead there, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my messages of Srila Prabhupada. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, absolutely. We can hear you.
Okay, because I am on Bluetooth driving, so.
Oh, that's fine.
One point that was, again, this is not the first time we have heard that Srila Prabhupada says that if we don't perfect ourselves in devotional life, there is a chance of fall down. So that was a good reminder that sometimes we get into that mood, I'm doing enough, or I can do only so much. Although there is a guarantee that once we start practicing devotional life, Krishna consciousness, next human birth is guaranteed, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned. But again, there is always a chance of fall down if we don't perfect, if we don't do our 100%. So that was a very good reminder for me. Hare Krishna.
Very good point, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's also a good reminder for me too. I'm so glad you brought that up. That's a very nice takeaway. Amazing point. Yes. And we may have heard those reminders, but sometimes this Kali Yuga mind needs to be reminded again. So that was a very nice point. Thank you, dear Krishna. Amazing point. Yeah. Definitely this lecture was thought-provoking. No doubt about that. No doubt. Yes. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share their takeaways? You're on mute, if you wanted just to say something.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Okay. I was just fishing around to do other things. Yeah, and piggyback on what Dear Krishna was talking about. So death is stopped as soon as the person is initiated and keeps the vows, takes it seriously. So he went through the whole vows. He talked about the regulated principles. And you already talked about a devotee's death is like sleeping and we wake up, to find the way with Krishna. It's very nice. You see devotees reacted to it. You could hear in the background, very, very nice reminder that a pleasant opportunity is coming. The devotee is not dying. He's going back to Krishna. For a non-devotee, they die in fear because everything is be taken away. And then, of course, they themselves will be taken to Yamaraj for a decision to be made. As you say, the Christians say the day of judgment will come. Yes, the day of judgment does come. They're taken to Yamaraj. But in devotee life, there is no dying. Dying stop. It's just a transition to go back to Krishna. As long as we keep the vows, he says, don't play with it. Don't stop and don't play with this whole process of Krishna consciousness. Mm-hmm. So we got to take it very, 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 very seriously. Towards the end, he was really stressing that it's a golden opportunity. He didn't say golden opportunity, I'm just paraphrasing, but it is a golden opportunity that we all have. And we got to remind each other through devotee association how important Krishna consciousness is. So Krishna, Hari Lila Amrita Vacha, we kept saying that, Hari Lila, Amrit Nectar, the Lila's pastimes of Hari, Supreme Personality of Godhead, to involve ourselves in hearing about the wonderful pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and chanting His holy name in all sincerity, and especially for us in the material world, in desperation also, because we are in a suffering condition. Sometimes we don't remember that because we're too busy making money to realize we're in a suffering condition. But anytime the weather changes, then we realize how little control we have about anything. Other people are punishing us. Other people are giving us trouble. The weather is giving us trouble sometimes. Sometimes it's nice. Most of the time it's not. But we still think that we have to make it here. No, we have to go back to Godhead where everything is nice all of the time. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Very, very nice point too. Yeah, a lot of takeaways from this. A lot of takeaways. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I think this is a lecture that whenever I've at least for me personally, whenever I'm, feel like we are at the end of the tunnel, it's always nice to hear this lecture to rejuvenate ourselves and to, strengthen our point. Yeah, very good point. The Krishna said such a wonderful point by Pariksha Prabhu. Yes, thank you so much. Wonderful point. Absolutely. Definitely a food for thought. Thank you.
Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy. Yeah.
Any other point from devotees? Any thoughts, any reflections, anything that's coming to your mind? Just a humble reminder that please join tomorrow morning's class. Again, it's going to be on the next verse, and it'll be given by Srila Prabhupada again tomorrow. So we will hear from Srila Prabhupada, and let me see, I just saw another one. And he says, we are not here to settle permanently. We should feel like we're in a rental house or a hotel here. Yep. In fact, I think that's a lecture by Srila Prabhupada. He's saying that we live in this rented apartment or something like that. I heard from one of his lectures, Srila Prabhupada says that we're just renting the apartment for a temporary place and then we just get kicked out or something like that. If I'm not mistaken. Yes, he did say that in one of his lectures. But we just feel like this rented apartment becomes our own house, then we get to own it. But yeah. So yes, that's a very good point. We get too comfortable in this world and we think that we own it, but it's actually, we don't own anything. It's just temporary. That's a good point too. Thank you so much, dear Krishna. Very, very good point for us to really meditate on today. That nothing in this world belongs to us. Everything is temporary. Thank you so much. Any other points from devotees before we end this class? Any thoughts, any reflections? Okay, great. If there isn't, we thank you all so much for joining this class. Again, we will get to hear Srila Prabhupada tomorrow morning on the next verse. So we encourage you to join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Until then, Vanchakrapatibhyascha Kripasindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a wonderful day, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare.